Hi guys, popping on to go over the monthly mystery box. And the herb of the month for our Build Your Own Home Apothecary was Juniper. And every month we have a different herb of the month. And what I'm trying to do with this is try to get these different things in your hands so that you can actually see what they look like and work with them and learn more about them. So, here's the box. I think most everybody got their boxes, so let's see. Okay, so this is the Juniper. And Juniper is a conifer tree. Some people actually call it Eastern Red Cedar, but it's Juniper. And this one, pull it out so you can see it better. You can see it has longer, thinner needles, and this one is just now starting to get its little berries. And the berries on this take, 1 to 2 years to actually come to fruition, and they're actually cones, not berries. But we call them berries, and they're like a bluish dark color. And then I threw in some creeping juniper too, because they had berries on them and the juniper tree didn't. They're both medicinal. There are some poisonous species that are crossbred, so watch out when you're doing anything with juniper. Pay attention to what you're getting. And this is the creeping juniper. If you can see a difference in the needles, the creeping juniper has thicker needles than the tree does. But here's the berries. And they are medicinal. They can also be used, if you see the white stuff on there, when they have, that is like a form of yeast. So they can be used to make natural yeast. But when you eat these berries or use them for medicine, it's always in moderation. Because they definitely, they're not like normal berries. They're really potent, and you want to really be careful when you're consuming them. Don't do too much. You can also use them as a spice, so you would grind them up, dry them all up in the sun. When I'm drying out berries or mushrooms or any fruits, I try to use the sun. I don't really like dehydrators. Hi Steven, hi Vicky, thanks for joining. So you could dry them out, crush them all up, and use them to season meat. It's actually good for gamey meat because it gets that taste out of there. But like I said, research the juniper tree and the berries, because you have to use them in moderation. And the leaves are mainly what is used to fight cancer, diabetes, gas, indigestion, kidney stones, wound healing, and much, much more. Look it up. There's so many things that the juniper tree is good for. And it's also a very it's used for spirituality and ceremonies and stuff like that too. So look it up. Let's see. It's also anti-inflammatory and diuretic. So, when you're, I guess I want to touch base on this, but when you're working with any herb, whether it's juniper or dandelion or any herb, the best way to get to know it and know if your body is going to have a bad reaction to it is to do a 15-minute steeped tea. And when you do that, you just take a couple tablespoons of whatever herb you're using, cut it up, put it into your vessel, which I use a glass mason jar because it has a lid, and then you boil your water, let your water settle down for a little bit before you put it onto the herbs, and then pour your water over it, put a lid on it, and let it steep for 15 minutes to keep all those oils in the water. Okay, and then you get some of the medicinal values that way. And you know, the old tea tax, it wasn't really a tax on tea, it was a tax on medicine, because the herbs and everything that are taxed, those are the medicines, and they're either used in teas, and then the next thing you can do to get a stronger version of it is to steep a tea same way, but do it for 24 hours, and that way you get way more of the medicinal properties. And then the next step you could do is a tincture, and after that you could get into doing an essential oil, a homemade essential oil, not one that's store bought, because they're not the same. I don't care what company that you want to entertain or patronize, but if you're not pulling the essential oils off of these with your own still, I wouldn't trust anything on the market. So you'd be safer just doing a long extracted tea or a tincture, in my honest opinion. And the tinctures are really potent. And you know, the difference with herbal medicine compared to Western medicine is that it actually heals through time. It doesn't just cover up and mask symptoms. So you also need to be consistent when you're doing any new herbal remedies too. It's not like pop a pill and, you know, instant relief, but, you know, like with the tinctures and stuff, you do get instant relief sometimes, but everybody's different. But you know, the goal is not to just mask symptoms and what can this do, because like we want it to heal you through time. So we're also supposed to, you know, utilize things as they come into season. So I sent everybody some dandelion root and head flowers. And dandelions are great for your liver, diuretic, all kinds of things. Like, look it up. I'm not going to sit and go over everything because this video would be forever. But dandelion fights cancer, all kinds of things. So why we spray Roundup on it, I mean, I know why there's been a war waged on dandelion, because it is that medicinal. Same thing with cannabis. So look it up, dandelion. And if you see anybody spraying them, tell them about it. You know, the only way we're going to start getting people to stop doing this stuff is to start enlightening them. You know, the people you see spraying the playground at the school, let them know you don't want them spraying poison on your kid's playground. You know, I mean, time to start, you know, speaking the truth here, because it's not getting any better. And if you've seen, there's been a drastic reduction in the bee population this last year, and it's due to all these chemicals that they're spraying. Hey, Kathy, thanks for joining us. So dandelion, look it up. And, of course, violets. This is another one that is in season right now. So you want to get these in you. You can do... let me go back to dandelion real quick, but you know, every part of the dandelion and the violet are edible. So pull that thing up right from the root. The roots you can dry out and use in teas, make coffee out of them. And tinctures, when I make tinctures, I use the flower, I use the root, I use the leaves, I use the stems, I use every part of it to get the entourage effect if I can. If something's poisonous on it, then I don't use that part, obviously. But the more parts that you can use, the more constituents you're going to get in your medicine. Hi, Melissa. Thanks for joining. So dandelions, I grew up eating horta, which is dandelion greens. And you just take the dandelion greens and you blanch them in some water for a couple minutes and pull them out, pull them into cold water. Soak them in olive oil, red wine vinegar, lemon, and any seasonings you want. It is so good for you. It's good to get this stuff into you raw while it's in season. You can make a salad with the greens. You can do a salad adding these violet greens. You can add the flowers. It looks pretty. It tastes good. Some people don't like the bitterness of these plants. Bitter is good. Anything bitter to your mouth is great for your body. So even saying the word bitter is healing. So look that up. It's crazy. I try to say it as much as possible when when I get something bitter. So violets, these are also, they're anti-inflammatory, they're diuretic, they are good for sleep. Look them up. I'm not going to sit and go over it all, but look them up, guys. And right now is the season. Get out there and get you some. And, you know, every day I get a plate of violets and I get a plate of dandelions, like, until I can't anymore. And you can freeze them also. So look that up. What else do we got here? Okay, and then we got primrose. Primrose flower. And primrose is good for anything for menstruation problems, pain. Look it up. It's got so many different uses too, but it's a good herbal remedy for women, bleeding, and it's a good pain reliever, anti-diuretic, antibacterial, all that stuff. Look it up. And then we got some strawberry blossoms and some strawberry leaves. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. And these are also medicinal. Look it up. That's my favorite thing to say because, you know, I could sit and write notes and tell you all the things, but this is why I want to do this, because unless you gain your own relationship with these plants, you're not going to get to know them. There's so much to learn. Like, I don't even know half of the stuff that's out there, and I've been doing this my whole life pretty much, and I'll never know it all. There's so much to learn. So, you know, one herb at a time, get to know it, learn it, and work with it and see if you like it, you know, and that's all you can do. Let's see what else we have here. I love these. I love putting these together. Sassafras. I gave you a little bit of sassafras root. This is also anti-cancer, anti-parasitic. You know, they actually made sassafras illegal. It might still be illegal. I don't know. Most of the things that I do like are legal. But sassafras, look it up. And this will definitely be our herb of the month soon once they start growing in the forest. And you can make root beer out of this with the ginger bug. And you could do a tea. You could do sodas. But it's amazing stuff. It smells like root beer. And so medicinal that it was actually made illegal. And like I said, I'm not even positive if it still is or not. And mullein. I sent everybody some mullein because mullein is back in season. And I figured I would get some fresh mullein out to everyone. And let me see. You know, these were so fresh when I got them. You might want to pull all these herbs out and let them just get some more air. Especially this mullein, because I don't even know if this one... I don't know. Check your mullein, guys, because this one might have been a little damp when I put it in here, and I don't know. I don't really like the look of it. Check your mullein. They were pretty dry when I put them in here, but they might not be, and they might not be good. So check your mullein, guys. This one's been sitting in the box for a few weeks. Hopefully everyone had theirs before that, but definitely get these out and let them get some air before you jar them up, especially that mullein. Everything should be pretty dried up, but that I got last minute, and I figured I'd throw it in because mullein's great for respiratory. But boy, if this isn't good, definitely, I'm sorry. Let me know. Reach out to me. But it's definitely, I don't know. I just don't like the look of it. It looks like it kind of is wet in there. Let's see. That doesn't make me too happy. So, cayenne pepper. I sent you some cayenne pepper. And you can grind this up and you'll have some nice, good, homegrown cayenne pepper. There's actually seeds in here too. You can actually plant the seeds and grow your own cayenne pepper, which is the best way to do it. And cayenne pepper is one of my favorites. I keep it in my purse at all times. I've actually used it many a times in an emergency situation. Hi, Jason. Hi, Buzz. Thanks for joining us. Um, it actually, first of all, it intensifies any other herb that you pair it up with. So, um, anything that you want to use in your herbalism, you use a little cayenne pepper with it. It makes it more medicinal. So remember that. And so topically, um, for a horrible wound or dog bite or something like that where you can't stop the bleeding, sprinkle on a little bit of cayenne pepper slowly, and it doesn't happen instantly. Some people will be like, oh, it doesn't work. It does work. Slowly you sprinkle it on. You don't want to cake the stuff on there. Slowly sprinkle it. Let it sit a minute. Sprinkle it some more, and slowly it'll cauterize that, and it'll stop also internal bleeding. So anyone that just had a stroke, heart attack, or anything, they should be taking cayenne pepper. If you ever feel like you're having a stroke or a heart attack, you take some cayenne pepper. Hold on, guys. Sorry. Oh, that's my granddaughter, and I didn't turn those off, so hopefully, let me see. Let me see if I can get rid of these notifications. Oh, and I can't. Sorry, she's going to blow up my phone for a minute. So, you can take this with a teaspoon of honey. Let me see. I'm not going to be able to stop the ringing, guys. You can take this with a teaspoon of honey, crunch it all up, and do a teaspoon in the morning. It also like clears out your arteries and your veins, gets your blood flowing. You can use it topically with some castor oil to get your blood flowing. If you have like any swelling or anything like that, any kind of pain, anything like that, and castor oil is another great thing. It goes in and actually breaks things up. So, hi Vicki. Nice to see you on here. Let's see, and then we have some pine tip pitch. And this is the pitch that grows on the tips of the pine needles before the male pollen comes out. And so they actually have like little pine needles through them. So I actually, there's a couple different kinds of pitches, but these are out early in the spring. If you catch them, there's a short window when you can catch them, and I harvested a lot of them, so look it up, pine pitch. There's so many ways you can use this too. Loaded with vitamin C, antimicrobial and bacterial and viral, all that stuff. And pull this one out too and let it dry out on play, because you know, all this stuff is just fresh from the season. So I definitely want to get you guys to pull them all out of these baggies. The only reason they're in baggies was to ship them. But get them out and get them on a plate. Let them dry out really good. Pine pitch. Look it up. And some Earth Star mushrooms, which are super cool. And if you actually like lay these on some moss or in the dirt or somewhere, and you know, they get wet and they'll come back to life and they'll spread and everything like that. But these are pretty special Earth Stars, as you can imagine. Look it up. They also do have medicinal value. They're anti-inflammatory and all kinds of things. So look it up and get to know it. I usually find these, they're kind of rare, honestly. I haven't found too many of them, but they like the sandy areas, and they usually grow around the pines. That's where I find them. And then a lucky buckeye. This is a buckeye seed. So I got a bunch of buckeyes that I harvested, so I figured I'd send everyone. Look it up. The story of the buckeye is pretty interesting. And keep it in your pocket for good luck. And then I sent everyone a little hens and chicks that you can plant out in your garden, or you can plant it in rocks with water. And I mainly sent this just so you could have something to plant. And I just like the sacred geometry of it all. So It's a really cool plant. Look it up, hens and chicks. And this is the cold tolerant species. I'm not sure of the scientific name at the moment, but that's what it is. And of course, this is the last thing. Everybody got some Mexican jumping beans now that I have the right ones. So if they're not moving when you open the box like these ones, don't fret, they're just sleeping. They like it warm and they like the sun, the light. So just, you know, get them under the light. And if I just set these on the table right here under the light, in a couple minutes, they'll start to bounce around. And it was just funny last month how I got scammed on the Mexican jumping beans. So I have been having fun playing with these, and I hope you do. There's actually a sheet in there that tells you how to take care of it, because you do have to soak it every so often if you do want. And there's a game that you can play with them, and they can bounce around. And but you can, if you take care of them, and I've never done this, so I'm going to do it for the first time now. But if you take care of them and put them into like a moth home or a butterfly, like, you know, little setup, I'm going to try to see, there's a little moth in there, so I want to see if they will come to life, and you can do that too if you want. So that was it for the mystery box. I hope you all enjoyed it. And let's see, this next month for June, ooh, it smells so good too. For June, we are going to do lilac. And I'm trying to, now that it's nice out, trying to stay in season with everything that we do. So lilac is what I use for my springtime parasite cleanse. And this is something that I'm going to get online and do a video about soon, about the parasite issue, because, boy, there is just a trend going on right now with ivermectin and fenbendazole and methylene blue, and, you know, all of those are drugs, by the way, made by Big Pharma and peddled by them. So, you know, any of the stories you see, you know, I'd be leery, because I don't actually endorse any of that stuff. I endorse, this is my parasite cleanse. I do lilac, and the leaves and the bark are what really are used, you know, in the tea. But of course you can use the flowers too, because like I said, I like to get the whole entourage effect. So in the springtime, after a long stagnant winter, here comes nature with our lilacs, because it knows we need some flushing going on and we need parasite cleanse. So this is what you can use naturally and safely to parasite cleanse in the spring. And then come fall, you have the black walnut hull. And that's all you really need to do, guys. I mean, all this, yes, we all have parasites, but we also have good parasites, and we need them. Our microbiome in our gut is very important. And what's going on, I mean, I know some people that have been doing ivermectin for over a year. I mean, everything in moderation. If you are going to do ivermectin, don't do it for no year. You do it, I mean, I would only do it for 3 days, like tops. And I'm talking a couple drops, not, you know. I honestly, my mind is blown with what I see going on with all this parasite cleansing and stuff. I'm even in, I used to be in a couple groups that had about 500,000 people in them. And boy, I mean, the stuff that people are pulling out from their bodies is just horrible, because we need a lot of the stuff that you're trying to pull out of your body. Like, their microbiome is in your gut for a reason. Like, so be treading lightly when you're doing parasite cleansing. And there's proper ways to do it. You want to do it on the onset of a full moon. You want to do it after you've already like flushed your lymphatic system and done a heavy metal detox and done a fast. And there's so many things that go into parasite cleansing. So just don't jump on the latest fad willy-nilly. Like, you can really hurt yourself, you guys. So I'm definitely going to do a video just strictly on parasites and cleanses and different things. But honestly, in my opinion, it's springtime, lilacs, this is what you use. And in the fall, you will use black walnut hull. And then you just actually, hi Annette, thanks for joining us. You add things to your daily diet and things that are in season. The dandelion, the violet right now, those are good for things too. You know, but there's so many things I can't actually sit and tell you everything they're good for. Like I said, you need to put in the effort yourself so that you get to learn them. But you know, you add things to your diet throughout the years, pumpkin seeds and papaya and all kinds of different things, and you're constantly getting the parasites out. It's not like a one and done. It's a lifestyle. And you know, like herbalism, perlite cleansing, it all goes together. So you know, definitely I'm going to do a video on that, so stay tuned. And if there's anything else you want to see, let me know in the comments or message me, and I would be glad to do them. I'm going to try to start, I actually ordered me a tripod to do videos, so, because I do things every day, and I know I could show you a lot more if I actually had a quicker way to just set up, jump on, do a quick video. So once I get my tripod this weekend, hopefully going through June, I can start popping on more and starting to show you some more things. So have a good day, guys.